Guten Tag! Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm video. We are continuing our series working on personalities, individuals who are content creators on YouTube and other platforms, and doing portraits of them, just as a way of celebrating Magic the Gathering, especially right now when you can't be always playing necessarily firsthand. These people are out here, and we want to celebrate all of their accomplishments and things that they're doing. So this is a request from YouTube. An individual asked me to draw Ormus, who is a German streamer, player of Magic. I wasn't actually able to find out much about him. I did find one picture of him though. So we are going to be drawing Ormus today. And I was told that Ormus is all about the Boros Legion from Ravnica. And Boros is the warlike military kind of force on the plane. So I naturally had to go to my Boros deck and my Aurelia Exemplar of Justice. And I was so thrilled to get this card in the pre-release that I had to make a deck around her. And I'm obviously not going to make Ormus into Aurelia, but I thought, why not use Tajik Legion's Edge and the artwork from it. So here is the grand reveal. Here is Ormus as Tajik, and I've got a card of him right here. I've zoomed in a little bit so I can get all those features in there beautifully. I wasn't able to get the left-hand side of his sword, unfortunately, which looks really cool, but I did get the rest of him there. And I had a lot of fun with the resplendent reflections in the armor. And I want to spend some time today just talking about how to create that metallic effect in your work. And most importantly, because I'm working on the left-hand side of the page here, I want to protect the part which is already done. I don't want to get smudging all over my hand. So I'm going to put some paper over top of it. This is the same paper that I use for practicing rubbings from the last video with Tappy Toe Claws. So I'm going to be using pencil. I'm going to be using the blending stop, which you've seen before, eraser obviously, but I'm also going to be using one of these more clay-filled graphite pencils. So the more clay that you have in the actual drawing portion, the softer the graphite becomes, and the darker you can get on the page as well, without a lot of pressure involved, which is great. So as you can see, I love using these sorts of pencils. I don't have a lot of them which are whole anymore. Most of them are on their last legs, but we'll see how today goes. Essentially, all we're going to do when we're talking about metal is we're talking about light and dark. So for these bits that are raised up on the sword, I'm going to shade in the outer areas of the, I guess, the enamel, the raised embossed is probably what I'm looking for, embossed portion there. Just darken those edges, and then I'm going to use my trusty blending stomp, which is going to spread out all of that wonderful graphite, and I'm going to spread out toward the inner portion there. So I've got a reflection where it looks like it's raised in the middle, and the point on the blending stomp is super helpful for that, just to make sure that I've got as much control as possible. Even though I made the sword very large front and center, it still is really challenging to get inside some of those areas. So I'm going to be working with that for just a little bit here. We'll get maybe a couple sections here done. And then the blade itself being metal will also have some reflections in it, but they're a lot easier to work with when it comes to the metal textures there. So essentially, once again, I'm going to make a call out to all of my wonderful viewers out there. I've received many requests from different streamers, different personalities, and I am definitely trying to get to them all. The list has gotten quite large though, so if you have asked to see a certain personality drawn, I will get to it, I promise you. But I have received so many requests, and I've actually got these videos planned out right into mid-November right now. And in some cases, the drawings are done. I'm just waiting to record them to add my little extra video footage here. And if you were waiting for one, don't worry, it is on the way. I was overwhelmed and wonderfully overwhelmed by the response from people in the Evil CGV video on who to draw. So thank you so much for that. So I'm gonna speed up just a little bit here because I do like to keep these videos to about 10 minutes maximum. But here's where I'm gonna start using that darker graphite, just in areas closer to edges. So you've got the hilt there, which is going to overlap parts of the sword. So I've got in there that wonderful darker tone, and the contrast of dark and light really makes a big difference in making it appear more metallic, which is great. So once I'm done with those embossed areas, and I think I've kind of showcased that enough there. I'll keep working on it though, and I'll be posting the final version at the end of the video here. At that point, we're going to talk about the blade itself. And the blade is interesting because very often, especially in the edge here, it's going to have a very gradual change from light to dark. So I've already got a reflection here in this part of the shoulder armor on Ormus here. So I'm going to assume that's where light is hitting it directly. So I'm going to have it, the blade portion, darker up on top here. And then you're going to get some gradual changes, but also some abrupt changes as well. So it might get gradual here, going from white to dark. But once you've got that light source, we're going to really just stop with the shading to show where the light's hitting more directly onto the blade there. We'll shade maybe this little embossed area here as well a bit more, but it goes from dark to light. Now, some artists don't pay a lot of attention to where the light and dark are. They just have light and dark in it, and that's actually quite fine most of the time, because as light changes on metal, even the metal here on this eraser holder, as I shift the light source, light's coming from this direction at the moment from my window, from natural light, you can see that the reflections are shifting as well. But if you've got something blatant, if you've got direct light hitting some other object nearby, you want to be aware of that. And that will just make life so much easier. You'll get less people complaining at you. And if you think if you think it's a bad idea, if you want to really go for those light areas and pay attention to them much more carefully, please do. And let me know in the comments what you think about that. But certainly, I am one who feels that you need to be aware of light, but it shouldn't take over the drawing. You shouldn't get frustrated anyways, for sure. The last thing you want is to be frustrated at your artwork, and that would be terrible. So once again, overhand grip technique from another video, using the side of the graphite to fill in areas faster. We can do that. And just be aware again, light, dark. You want to kind of line them up, match them, because that's going to happen in the metal as well, especially on either side of the blade. If this part here is sticking up quite a bit, then you might have a different sort of reflection on the opposite side. And again, I'm just going to very lightly smooth out. I like the shading of the pencil by itself, but because you're pressing so lightly, you might not get even. So I'm just lightly going over with the blending stomp to even out that shading there. You can see that metal really coming along there. It actually looks more like a sword now. Maybe we'll just kind of thicken this a little bit here at the bottom. All right. And my finger for getting a little bit messy in there with the reflection on the opposite side. So, oh, sorry about that. There's me knocking the camera again. So there's the idea of getting metallic effects in your work. And already you can see quite a difference between what I've done so far and the incomplete portion here. So I'm going to finish this off camera. I'll be posting that final version now. And please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you feel that the video merits it. And hopefully you found that useful, interesting, and please try out some of these techniques. It's amazing how art is all about the tricks. There's little, well, in my case anyways, very little talent. A lot of it is just learning the skills. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.